Elaine, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you for taking time out to talk to me today.
Of course.
Nice to see you again, actually. Yeah. We had a lovely chat at Steelhouse back in the summer. So let's catch up with what's happening at the moment. Okay, we're here at Stoke 11. Have you been here before?
No, been to Stoke before, but not been to 11 before.
Okay. What do you think of it so far?
It's great, really nice room.
Good setup.
Really nice.
Yeah, nice ride though. It's nice
Really nice
sandwiches.
ride, sandwiches.
We've been looked after.
Thin arrow roots, which are just tea biscuits, but
Kettle.
McVitie's ones to call it something else. Well looked after.
Good little setup. So, why the afternoon gig? You know, what's happening?
Good question.
I don't know, I think we should get the promoter in to answer that question. We just get told when we're playing. I think it's because it's a Sunday and it's a wee bit better for everyone else to just make it during the day. I think it was just a thought for people coming along.
That's alright, isn't it? There's a few in already, so notice. You have a day off tomorrow as well.
Do.
And then it's Chester Live Rooms. So what are you going to do with your time off? Well, in
Eat
rest?
food.
Eat food, yeah, we've been that busy over the past couple of days, like eating food has not been a priority, so we're getting a good dinner tonight and getting a good dinner tomorrow and making up on the lost calories.
I can recommend Chester. I mean, have a walk round, it's fantastic. Have you walked around Chester before?
No.
Oh, Roman City. Brilliant.
Oh really?
Oh,
Lovely.
the amphitheatre, Roman roots.
I won't even see all that then. Definitely.
Yeah, it's really, really lovely. So you're halfway through the album launch tour now, yeah? What have been the highlights so far?
I mean, releasing the album was definitely a highlight. Our hometown show in Glasgow, we didn't get to do that with the last album. We brought Casino out and then we didn't do a Glasgow show after it because we did one in the sort of announcing of the album. So to actually release the Call Us a Reality and then do the headline show in Glasgow the day after it came out and to have people singing the songs back to us already was massive. You know, that was amazing. And then just the main highlight has just been, you know, we did a lot of touring last year and to come back to a lot of the same places again and for there to be more faces that we don't recognise coming along to see us and singing songs back to us, that's been amazing.
But you were in the spotlight last year, you were at all the festivals,
yeah, we were everywhere,
down there, wherever, yeah. So it was really good for you, and I've had a lot of feedback off that.
It was a really good kind of. It seems weird to call it a warm up because it's not. When you're playing festivals, that's the main thing. But it was a really good warm up for what this year will bring. You know, we were getting out a lot last year. We did a lot of tours and a lot of festivals, so it was really good to get us, you know, up to speed.
A lot of different hair colours.
Yes. Yeah, this man's been through the ringer with a haircut.
No, I was silver, blonde.
Yeah, you were blonde at Steelhouse.
Yeah, I was blonde at Steelhouse. Yeah, that's because I just hadn't dyed it back silver. You dye it silver and it goes silver for about 2 days.
Oh, that's what you had long hair.
Yeah, oh that's right. I had the long flowing Chris Cornell locks for a while.
Hair off you.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. So you started out in hometown Glasgow on the tour, and you end in Edinburgh.
Yes.
So is that planned to finish on Scottish soil? It was.
Yeah, well, it's just that way where you kind of start the way you want to.
You got far to go home at the end.
Yeah, well, that's that. Yeah,
That's the thing. Exactly.
You know, the thing is, well, is for people who maybe don't want to travel through to Glasgow, you know, we do have a fan base in Edinburgh, so it's nice to go through and play again. We haven't played Edinburgh for 3-4 years. You've not played Edinburgh with us.
No.
So,
So at least 2.5 3 years.
Aye.
Well, we only played before COVID, so yeah.
4 years. Was the last time with Stonebroken?
That's right.
Aye, can I say, well, that's 4 years then. Aye.
Well, the new album, Call This a Reality.
Oh yes.
This is your second studio album,
Oh yes.
and it was produced by Bruce Rintoul.
Yes.
Now, how did you come to choose him?
You wanna?
Well, basically, we wanted to go a much more modern route with the sound. You know, have a different kind of production, and we also wanted to keep things, you know, quite local to Glasgow and to Scotland because there's so much going on that you know, it's good art-wise in Scotland. And so Bruce had been working with Father Son and with Bukovi, and you know, we just thought that's the kind of sound that we want. I felt it reflected the sort of new up and coming us. Then we got him in, and you know, he was saying all the right things, and just kind of we resonated with his ideology as well, and yeah, it just made sense.
I mean, he produced, like, was it Twin Atlantic and Father Son? Heavier bands, are they, or are they sort of?
I suppose you could heavier in the same way that our album is both heavier and
Poppier,
more
but I mean,
poppier.
I would say Father, Son and Twin Atlantic are more on the poppier side of things, but Vocovia are definitely on the heavier side, where there's a sort of
electronic.
And there's like a melding between dance and metal kind of sound.
Right.
So Bruce is very good at making, like, kind of enhancing what's already there. So like with us, you've got a great band that plays but really well together, and he's then able to add on top of that and kind of pinpoint things where, okay, we could get more out of this part, we can get more out of that, and then taking that and adding a synthesizer on top of it, or adding an organ sound, or just having those wee ideas that you need from a producer.
Okay. Well, I mean, looking at the lyrics, there's obviously some personal messages in there. So let's have a look at a few, shall we, in particular. Like Stutter, for example. What's all that about?
You want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So I came up with the idea for Stutter. It was actually based on a letdown. We had the second half of our tour with Wayward Sons cancelled because of a COVID outbreak, and so I went into guitar to make myself feel better. And I was trying a Stratocaster in the room where you get to play it, and I came up with a riff. And then from there, I was just thinking a lot about school. I was just kind of reminiscing, thinking about my younger self. And I think it was kind of sparked off by just looking at people who you used to know on social media. So it's kind of an amalgamation of like that reminiscing, but it's kind of a toxic reminiscing because you're only looking at it on a surface level, and hence only kind of remembering it on a surface level as well. And that's kind of that negative feeling, and there was a lot of negative feelings, I must admit, at the time. It was kind of like a hold in there kind of message, like the chorus is very much everything's going to be alright, you're actually going to be okay even though you feel mental right now. And that was kind of the, I think a lot of our songs lyrically, it's not like this is specifically what this is about, it's like an area of emotions. And it's about like even maybe like a time frame of emotions of things that are going on at that particular point, rather than this is about, being depressed or something as kind of narrow as that.
And what about the title song then? It's a reference to something darker?
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of like that was sort of the what we're trying to say here. That kind of summed up all the conversations we've been having together, because like when we're in the studio together and we're not playing music, we're sitting talking about things and talking about the world and talking about our frustrations with things, because there's a lot to be frustrated about right now, with any subject, and so it was that way where, especially through the lockdown and coming out of the lockdown, there was a lot of frustration and a lot of like, is this reality? Like, everyone is so disconnected, everyone is so like just ready to attack each other all the time. There's no conversation, there's no like ability for people to just kind of speak to each other and work things out, and you've just got like the powers above who are just sitting there rattling the cage.
Every so often he gets you, then you have to switch off, don't you?
Yeah.
As you just go, you get really down. I get really down with some of it.
Absolutely.
I realise that you just everybody goes to a great gig these days. Everybody sees all their friends. Nobody goes to a crap gig anymore. You know what I mean? You notice, and it gets you down. Well, I went to a really crap gig and nobody else was there. It happened. It's what about I love the tempo on Electric Karma. I mean, that's like there's a hip swinging 60s sort of beat to it. It's really good. So is that about getting even with somebody?
So it's about finding it hard to become fulfilled by other people and kind of needing people to be your fix, which is quite a funny message considering that I'm quite an introvert, but you also kind of need that love, and it's about finding that love in yourself rather than thinking, did I miss an opportunity there, to fulfill some sort of relationship that was meant to be but then never meant to be. It's about contemplation and wondering on the what ifs.
And karma.
And karma.
I mean, the writing is remarkable. So all three of you contribute, and along with Matthew Quigley. Who's he? Is he the former member of Anchorage?
Yeah, so Matthew left a year ago. In fact, a year and a month ago. He left last January, just
before the recording of the album.
It was all getting too intense for him, and he just didn't want to do it anymore. So
he helped write the new album.
Yeah, he wrote. He was there for about 3/4 of the time that we were writing the songs, and then left just before we were in the kind of like final stages of writing the album. And is there 3 songs on the album that he's not on?
That's right.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. I mean, we discussed the amazing artwork of the album at Steelhouse. I mean, who was it by again?
So it was Daniel Hollab, who works, it's Make North is the name of the company.
And,
so
and you've got the t-shirts on sale. With,
Yeah,
I might just go and bag one of those later.
Well, you need to hurry up,
Yeah,
'cause
I
we've
was
only
gonna
got 4 left,
They're
maybe.
going to need to change it from selling like hotcakes to selling like Anchor Lane t-shirts. That's how well these are sold.
The metaphor has changed.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
So that's it. The album's reached number 10 as well in the classic rock and
Yeah,
metal
which is
chart.
nice,
So
yeah.
you must be really over the moon with the response.
It's been brilliant. I think the thing that I've been really happy about is that in the physical sales we hit like top 5 in physical sales, which means that people are, rather than getting a digital download or they're streaming it, they're buying a vinyl or they're buying a CD, which I think is amazing because people aren't doing that nowadays.
There's something about it that design. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the album. I mean, every track is totally. Well, I'll probably review it later. I mean, every track different in a way, but it's just all. But it all sort of flow together. It's just really well done.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. That's something that we really wanted to achieve here. Is we wanted to make a rock album that was encompassing of a bunch of things within and out with rock, and have a bunch of different tempos, a bunch of different beats, a bunch of different keys that the songs are in, a bunch of different lyrical topics, so that you've got something diverse to listen to. Because we live in a time where, or maybe this has always been the case, where bands tend to do one thing and then they run with it, and we're not really interested in that because there's all the music in the world. Why would you limit yourself to one thing? So we made as many different things as we could, so that you've got a diverse listen, and you're intrigued.
Yeah, it's slightly diverse, but it doesn't go from way off track, does it? It just stays and flows. It's really cool.
It stays cohesive, but the best bands are able to give you different looks and different feels in an album, and it still sounds like them. Foo Fighters are a good example of it.
So, you resting up after this tour? You're gonna, or is there more in the pipeline?
I mean, we'll probably rest for like a week and then it'll be on to the next thing. Because this year's like we've got to capitalise on bringing out a new album and having a lot of momentum behind us. So we don't know what's next yet, because this tour's been everything we've been thinking about. Releasing the album and going on this tour and making the most of this opportunity. We've got a great management team behind us who work on a need-to-know basis with us. So it'll probably be we get home, we have a chat with them and they go, right, here's what's happening next. So
I'm sure we'll see you on some stages later.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to seeing what's happening next.
Guys, it's been great talking to you again. Thanks
Thank you
for
very
taking time out to talk.
Thank you.
Good luck with what's going on later, your show later on, and kill it, mate. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Okay.